What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day, and I came to tell a little bit of truth about the Russian fiasco, and I think this is something that everybody should see. I'm gonna wait 10 seconds and then I'm gonna start talking to you. Give me 10, 9, 8, 7, just waiting for a few people to come in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, thank you for joining. First off, I want to start with, if you have any information, any facts, any logical articles or videos, please share them with me. I beg, please share them with me. I've been getting all sorts of attacks recently. Oh, you're right wing, you're this, you're that. You remind me of Adolf Hitler, somebody said. But what's weird is they don't share any information with me. It's not a cult. I'm not biased. I'm not paid off. I'm not a sellout. I do exactly what I want, what I feel is right. And the problem, what I've said many times, is people have stopped using logic and facts and good arguments, and they've gone to just cursing, name-calling, and literally showing no evidence. So please share evidence. If you don't agree with me, that's awesome. Just share evidence with me. The whole reason I do this is because nobody shares evidence on that side. They're just name-calling. So please share with me. I'm not biased. I'm not a sellout. I'm not right-wing, whatever you want to say. Okay, so the real reason for the Russia fiasco, and I'm going to have many proof. You could search everything I'm saying, please do, because it's all real. So, during the election, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had two different responses to Syria. Donald Trump said, you guys are funding terrorists, which Tulsi Gabbard also said, which many people have said, which even AP and major news sources have said, that we're funding both sides of the war. And Donald Trump said, that's ridiculous. What you guys did in Libya is ridiculous. I'm going to do a whole different thing in Syria. And Hillary Clinton said, I'm going to take what Barack Obama's doing, and I'm going to ramp it up. I'm going to put a no-fly zone. I'll shoot down Russian aircraft if I have to. Hillary was trying to fuel a war with Russia because the Syrian war is it's a total mess, but Russia is involved with the Syrian government. So Hillary Clinton wanted to ramp up that war. And in the book Shattered, which just came out about Hillary Clinton's campaign, which had people on the inside write about it, they said within 24 hours, look it up, within 24 hours of losing, they hatched this idea of a Russian election hack. This was a complete hatched idea. They knew from the start, we need a scapegoat, we need a straw man, so Russia is that straw man. All of this Russian, that's why people say, well, don't you think it's a little fishy that he fired you? No, I've been saying literally since November that this whole Russia stuff is a complete sham. And I'm going to show more proof of why I know it's a sham. And if it's not, I'll stand corrected. You know, if something wild comes out that Trump was a spy and an agent, but the fact that people like Michael Flynn are having conversations with people like Russia and Russia television, that's not weird. Jesse Ventura is about to get a new show with Russia television. I have friends in Russia. Now all of a sudden you can't talk to people from other countries. Only the intelligence communities can talk to people. Hillary Clinton could sell this and that. They can have conversations. But anybody involved with Trump, they can't talk to Russia or other foreign countries. It's a total flip because every politician thus far has been a complete puppet, a complete sellout, and the least puppet of all, Donald Trump, owned by least people, they're pretending like he's a puppet. It's a complete manipulation of the truth. But I want to talk about North Korea too, and I think this is very important because this is another impending war. So CNN put out an article that said that Donald Trump would be honored to talk to Kim Jong Un. He said he would be honored. And this is interesting because when Dennis Rodman went to North Korea, he said that Kim Jong Un didn't hate Americans, according to Dennis Rodman. And of course, that's only one person. I'm not saying that's for sure true. But that conflicts with everything we've heard from the mainstream media, that Kim Jong Un is a madman who hates Americans. He doesn't want to talk to us. Dennis Rodman said he wants to talk to us. Please. He's like, just let me have a conversation. I would love to talk to Barack Obama. I like the NBA. I have, a fond feelings towards Americans. So Barack Obama never talked to Kim Jong Un. He never talked to him. Unless you could show me an article that says otherwise, which I'll stand corrected once again. Obama wouldn't even have a conversation with that guy. Isn't that strange? That's how you create enemies. It's by fueling the media against somebody and not even having a conversation about them. Seems a little ridiculous. So Donald Trump finally comes out and says, I would love to talk to him. Immediately, within 2 hours of posting this article, CNN's already blasting out articles that says, why it's a bad idea that Donald Trump talks to Kim Jong Un. And the whole article is like, why we can't let Trump talk to Kim Jong Un. Don't you think that's a little bit suspicious that he can't talk to Russia? They don't want him to talk to Russia because they don't want to end the war in Syria. They don't want to not be at constant war. Oh, you can't talk to Kim Jong Un because they don't want to end that conflict. If Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un talked, probably within 2 hours, they might be able to end the conflict. It's probably not that hard. Kim Jong Un loves American culture. He loves basketball. He loves being prideful. He loves his people. I'm not saying that his situation is great or ideal, but let's not leave it like another Libya or, Iraq, where we kill the leader and you have a bunch of people who've been indoctrinated into this crazy community. Now they're just running rampant. And to add to that, China and Russia put a bunch of military people on their borders, and it wasn't to help. It was so if there's a crisis that all of the North Korean refugees don't run into their country. They'll probably gun them down. You argue about us having bad policies about immigration. That's what Russia and China are doing. They're putting people there. So they're like, if U.S. attacks North Korea, we're not letting in North Koreans. But they don't want a conversation. And as this plays out, I would love to see, but all of the findings they found so far in this Russia situation have been so minuscule, so minute. They don't want a conversation. They don't, even if I think there was something recently that said, Rex Tillerson went over there. Donald Trump talked to Russia and he didn't tell people about it. Why would he tell you about it? He can't do anything without you calling this a Russia conspiracy hoax. Of course he's trying to talk to Putin and get along with Putin instead of Hillary Clinton and past U.S. leaders. All they do is lie, and create enemies. They're all over the Middle East. They got people wooed in the United States thinking Barack Obama's this great person. Meanwhile, he's expanding war in the Middle East. 7 Muslim countries that he's bombing. The Muslim community in the Middle East and everybody in the Middle East is unhappy about it, but Americans don't even know about it. So their whole perception of what's going on in the Middle East and what's going on overseas is skewed because they don't know the truth. They don't live there, and they're not getting the truth. As far as terrorism goes in the Middle East, and you could Google this, please do, because anyone who calls me a conspiracy theorist, one of the things I pride myself on doing is literally using mainstream media sources, not sources that you think are conspiracy theory, not independent. I'll find CNN talking about it. I'll find New York Times and Washington Post. I'll find everybody talking about it. So you can Google this. The United States, under the Obama administration, got caught, I believe it was $500 million, paying a British PR firm to make up propaganda. $500 million towards a British PR firm to make up propaganda about terrorists. And they were making fake Al-Qaeda and fake ISIS videos because they've been lying about the entire situation. There was an FBI, another thing you could look up, I believe she was FBI or maybe CIA. She was on Al Jazeera and she was an clandestine member, whatever. She said she went to all of these countries and she started talking to the terrorist groups and she realized, you know what? They're really not that different. Of course, they have a different ideology and they're born there, but they think they're the heroes. Everybody thinks they're the heroes. Everybody thinks it's a movie where the U.S. is the big bad man and they're the heroes. Nobody is born into like this evil thing of I'm going to kill. A lot of people are lost, hurt, confused, and misled. And it happens here. It happens in North Korea. It happens in Russia. It happens overseas. And our media, as beautiful of a country as America is, as you could talk to people who grew up in multiple other countries and came to America. It is truly an incredible, incredible country, and we shouldn't lose that. But our media system does everything in its power to just confuse people, to leave people in fear, paranoia, and complete disarray. And they're even paying propaganda, PR teams to create false material. And all of the trusted news sources, I'm sorry, you want to talk about conspiracy theories? What's more conspiracy than the fake news that a lot of the mainstream media puts out? If they really wanted to help you, and the sad part is, people think that the elites and everybody's opposing Trump because they care about the environment, they care about social justice, it's just plain wrong, and they want to keep people safe. That's just not it. I'm sorry. Maybe there's some individual American citizens who feel that way and that's their goals, but these people, Hillary Clinton and the elites and the Republican and Democrat establishment, the intelligence communities, the media, they want him out so they can start more war. And nothing showed that clear. Then what is the one thing that Hillary Clinton praised Donald Trump on? What's the one thing that the mainstream media praised Donald Trump on? What's the one thing that Republicans and Democrats who are warmongers praised Donald Trump on? What is it? It was when he bombed Syria, when he shot all the missiles at the Syrian base. That's the only thing. They didn't praise him for creating new jobs. Oh, you didn't create those jobs. They didn't praise him for helping people. They didn't praise any of the other things he did. They didn't praise the fact that he stopped the TPP. That was an abomination to them because that ruined their entire plan of further controlling the world and selling out America to other countries. That's the true sellouts. And please, let me have a debate with me. Have an intelligent debate. Tell me that I'm wrong. Show me some facts. Don't call me an idiot. Don't call me names. Please show me, because the only thing that they've agreed with him on is the bombing. That's all they care about. And it couldn't be more clear to me. And within 24 hours, in Shattered, they said they hatched this Russia conspiracy. Oh, it was a Russian election. They did that. That's like a straw man. That you could do anything. If it's Russia, you fell off your bike, it's Russia. If Trump doesn't do something, it's Russia. It's such an easy scapegoat. And what is Russia not doing? They're not playing along with the UN. They don't have a World Bank. What is Syria doing? Oh, what do you know? They're not connected to the central banks that control the whole world. How come anytime, North Korea, do they have United States banks and Federal Reserve banks in their country? Of course they don't. So how come we don't care if Venezuela's in poverty and they can't even get clean food or water because of failed socialism? Where are the social justice warriors? How come they're not going to South Korea? How come they're not going to certain parts of Africa? How come they're not going to Libya that Hillary Clinton proudly destroyed? How come they're not in Iraq? How come they're not, in certain parts of Russia where there's poverty? How come the social justice warriors only care? And how come our politicians, they only care about poverty and terrible things when it's something that he does? Like, it's a human rights effort. That's not okay. They don't care about real poverty. They don't care about ending world hunger. They want more war. And people ask me, why are you saying this stuff? Anomaly, you're biased, you're this and that. I will say it again before I leave. If the political climate was balanced and normal, I would be critiquing Trump, or possibly I wouldn't even be making videos at all, because I didn't want to be a news analyst. I didn't want to do journalism. I don't really even enjoy this. I enjoy connecting with you guys and getting the truth out there for my own, I just feel good because there's so many lies out there, but I wouldn't have to do this. I would be critiquing Trump if it was a fair, normal, balanced political climate. I'm not critiquing Trump because I don't see the flaws in him. I do. I think that him saying that he hates Julian Assange, I wish he would embrace Julian Assange instead of hating him. I wish he would show a few more solutions about the environment as he's, expanding things that might not be so good for it. But the reason I do this is because the political climate is not balanced. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before, and you're not being honest to yourself or to people in the comment section if you don't see that. How do you not see that? It's not like Trump is just doing his thing and half the people are saying this, it's totally not like that. It's like you have Republicans, Democrats, the media, people like George Soros, you have groups, you have Antifa, you have liberals, you have the resistance. There's never been anything like, they're trying to impeach him. Why would I want Mike Pence? Why would you want Mike Pence? So I don't feel like I'm not being biased or one-sided. I'm desperately just trying to give this guy 200, 300 days, 400 days, because in 100 days, he's making more jobs. And that's the one thing I know that inner city communities have been saying. Don't say this, just give us jobs. Like anybody I talk to, I'm like, why is that city so dangerous? Like, what happened to that city, Because I truly care. Like, why is there so much crime in this? They say, well, there's no jobs. They don't have jobs for these people. These are people in these cities telling me that themselves. I'm like, why is Detroit so bad? Well, they don't have jobs. He's doing all this stuff. He ended the TPP. I'm trying to give him a year, 2, 3, 4 years and then get a better president. I'm totally cool with it. But the fact that people don't see this, that's why I'm making these videos, because it's like 99% of the flow of information being jammed down our throats, and it's all fake. And people think it's because, oh, they're going to save the environment. No, they're trying to regain power. I'm sorry that I'm not trying to throw the power back in the hands of the political establishment after it's fallen for the first time in a long time. You know, maybe since JFK, maybe since Jimmy Carter. I don't know my history and those elements that well, but why don't we focus our energy on getting a better president in 2020, you know? Because, and just to add real quick, I wanted to throw in Tulsi Gabbard real quick, because she's a progressive and a Democrat that a lot of people really admire. The press did the same thing when she went into Syria. She went into Syria to talk about Bashar al-Assad, and they lost their minds. CNN lost their minds. The mainstream media lost their minds. They don't want people having conversations. They don't want people having conversations with Putin. They don't want people having conversations with Bashar al-Assad, and they don't want people having conversations with Kim Jong Un. And they don't want us having these conversations, because you know why? When you have an honest conversation and you go back and forth and you have a debate and you have one side share facts and you have the other side share facts, you might realize that most of the stuff that they've said, all of the narratives that they've created over the past 10 and 15 years are complete fabricated lies. And that's why we have the situation we do. That's why Hillary Clinton's not president. And I'm going to possibly do a video later. I saw a Noam Chomsky video. And Noam Chomsky, of course, a very intellectual man, a leader of the left. And it was a complete lie. And I hate to say this because that's a very brilliant man. But I'm going to make a video on why Noam Chomsky's whole thing was absolutely ridiculous. And I would love to debate him on that. Because I was blown away by all the inaccuracies that he was pushing in his interview. But that's a side story. Please just at least consider this. I'm not saying to agree with that. I'm not saying, oh, for sure, it's because he said the banks. It's because he said the war. But consider it. Look up the articles I said. Because to me, everything's adding up. Like, you guys are adding up all this fake evidence towards Russia, ignoring the fact all of the things that past presidents have done with Russia, which is 50 times what any information they've been able to find. After a year, they've spent a year investigating this. Imagine if they spent a year investigating Hillary Clinton's ties to Russia. She'd be in jail 300 times. They spent a year and they've still found 1/50th of what we already know about Hillary Clinton with no investigation. It's ridiculous, it's pathetic, and it's like mind-blowing to me that people are still playing along with the Russian narrative that they literally created 24 hours after losing political power. Much love. I'll be back later today. Check out my videos if you're new, or if you haven't seen them. I did 2 yesterday. I did one on the DNC lawsuit that's going on between Bernie Sanders supporters and the Democratic National Committee. I did one on people freaking out, or I did 2 on people freaking out over the James Comey situation. Total lies. And, you know, that's all. I guess I'm going to share my links below if you want to support. Please do. If not, just know your support is good enough. The shares, the comments, the likes. And please, if you don't agree with something, show me some proof, because there seems to be a real pattern I'm finding. People that disagree with me very heavily, they don't have any evidence, they don't have any facts, they don't have any logic, they just scream names, they curse, they call me names, and then they run away. It seems to be a common pattern. If you have facts and evidence, please share it, because I will totally share it. I don't have an agenda. I'm not stuck in a way. I've literally had a big shift over the past year because I've taken in new information, and I'm like, well, that's a lie, and it just continues to expose itself as a bigger lie. So I don't think the truth is partisan. I don't think the truth is left, right, progressive, Democrat, libertarian. The truth is the truth. If it falls in a conservative value, it falls in a conservative value. If it falls in a progressive value, it falls in a progressive value. I think both sides are ridiculous. I think these news analysts that consider themselves progressives and conservatives that don't have an honest conversation and aren't willing to take, you know, key points from both sides, I think you're both being ridiculous. I think we need a dialogue, and that dialogue needs to include facts and evidence and reasons, not just name calling and, you know, pure fear mongering. And it definitely happens from both sides. But I'm making the videos I'm doing now because the political climate is what it is right now, and I didn't choose it. It is what it is. And if you want to pretend like it's not, if you want to pretend like it's a balanced political climate, like they weren't jailing journalists, like the mainstream media isn't massively controlled by one side of the political spectrum, you can do that. Feel free to lie to yourself, but don't come here and lie to me and people on my page, because they're probably too smart if they're here. All right, much love. Have a good day.